We all know that police officers have some of the hardest jobs by protecting the citizens. But have you guys ever thought of undercover cops? Well, these are some of their stories on Reddit. Hey, let's check it out. Let's get it. Let's go. Hey, let's get it.
Serious, those of you who worked undercover, what is the most taboo thing you witnessed?
Taboo
But
thing
could
you
not intervene as
witnessed,
to not
okay.
blow your cover? When I worked
Oh,
QA for a
shoot.
video game publisher, they had me work an E3 as a secret player. Basically I got to play new games for that publisher and act like they
It's
were
like
amazing
fun.
in front of press. While I was taking a break I saw one of the producers hooking up with a booth babe. He didn't recognize me, but I knew he was married and had a kid on the way. I didn't say crap. He got laid off when the rest of us did about a year later. But that's just kinda how E3 goes. Couple
I don't know what E3 is, but okay.
kids, boy about 11, girl around 9. Get paid by host, have kids do it with each other for entertainment of some of the people present. For further tips let
Wait.
couple sick.
Whoa. Time out. Wait a minute. Couple showed up to a party with their kids. An 11-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl get paid by the host to have kids. What the?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Bro, what? Holy bro, what?
Cause joined in after a few minutes. Kids have been safely wards of the state for several years now for your information. I wasn't exactly undercover.
I wonder why.
But there was a degree of subterfuge involved. When I was working in the customer service department of a health insurance company, I had a call one day that was just a little off. The guy was calling from a pharmacy about a problem with his prescription. That was the normal part. The red flag was his demeanor. He was agitated, as anyone would be in that situation, but he was being overly polite. Normally in this situation, even a very tolerant person would still have some choice words for his insurance carrier. Not this guy. Everything was yes, sir, and if it wouldn't be too much trouble, sir. It just didn't quite fit.
I don't
to
get
better
it.
assist him, I asked him what
Being
prescription he was
respectful?
trying to fill, the dosage, and the quantity. He was getting oxy, maximum quantity, maximum dosage. The plot thickens. So I asked him to hold while I checked with our pharmacy vendor to see if they could shed some light on the issue. What I was actually doing was having my team lead research the guy. It took a while, so I had to keep coming back to the call to ask the guy if he wouldn't mind waiting just a little longer. That's not a problem at all, sir. I don't mind waiting one bit. At this point, he was starting to sound anxious. Still very polite.
Yeah.
What my team lead found was that the guy was getting prescriptions for basically every narcotic under the sun filled at different pharmacies all over town.
What the
And so was
hell?
his wife. Maximum dosage, maximum quantity. The reason he couldn't get this particular prescription filled is because our pharmacy vendor flagged his policy and it was under review. That flag had just...
Yo, hats off to that pharmacy worker. Now, I don't know if he was using it to go ahead and what's the word so I don't get whatever the word is, but if he was selling those, he was making so much money. It's like, obviously, do not do this whatsoever. We don't condone selling drugs, but he was either taking them or selling them. Holy hell! Like I said, hats off to that one worker that flagged him.
been placed that very morning, but they hadn't had a chance to take any action just yet. By this point, I've got my team lead on the phone with the pharmacy vendor, my supervisor on the phone with our internal fraud investigators, and my manager on the phone with an Leo in the guy's jurisdiction. Just before the call ended, I heard
know
the
where Leo
cop
is.
walk up next to him, address him by his full name, and tell him to hang up the phone. He and his wife got dinged for numerous counts of distribution and insurance fraud. The director of our fraud unit invited me to her office to thank me for being proactive. She also talked to me about going to school to become a fraud investigator. That director is now a VP, and I still get a high five from her when I pass her in the halls.
Hell yeah, we love to hear that kind of
We got
story.
a tip that a guy who owned an advertising agency in the area and was also running funding in lab. We got to his assistant who was hilariously into the whole thing. I'm guessing many years of verbal abuse from a dickhead will fan the flame of revenge. We would be alerted when he left the office each day where he'd pick
Wait,
his 2 daughters up
what?
from a fancy Catholic school and sometimes swing by what we eventually confirmed was the lab. They would wait in the car while he was inside for about an hour. Occasionally the daughters would leave the car and go somewhere. We assumed in the beginning that it was to get something to eat as they often came back with a bag of food. But there was a McDonald's a block over and this was a nice white paper bag. Not a plastic one from a convenience store. A small thing but it just seemed odd. One day they were followed and it out they were friends with the daughter of another guy who owned a restaurant and worked as the hostess. Apparently she figured out that, surprise, well-to-do men will pay good money to frick young pretty girls. The 2 sisters' girls would wait behind the building, then the hostess would come out with 3-5 guys usually in suits and take everyone down to the basement of another building restaurant guy used for storage. When they came out the guys went directly to their cars or walked to the train. The girls would go inside the restaurant and come out with that white paper bag. We busted M guy eventually but the girls' business wasn't our problem. My partner reported it and eventually someone followed up. Through casual conversation rumors I've heard they made $300 per guy and the whole thing had been going on for 7 months. Supposedly it was the youngest of the 2 sisters who had an IQ off the chart and masterminded the entire operation. Neither father had any idea what was going on and the girls were between 12 and 15. As I was strictly involved with observation evidence gathering on M-Man, the girls' business was handled elsewhere and
God. So not only did this guy have a drug lab, I guess we'll call it, but these girls who were 12 and 15 years old, they were letting guys frick them.
Watch your profanity.
Oh my god, I don't know how this can get any worse. I did not expect it to be this bad, but Undercover Cops, holy.
Due to their ages, the case files are sealed well above my pay grade. One day though, it will be a fascinating read. Supposedly it was the youngest of the 2 sisters who had an IQ off the chart and masterminded the entire operation. I bet you she and her sister were physically shamed before this happened. Kids don't come up with perverted crap like this on their own. From 2007 through 2008 I worked on a smuggling interdiction task force. My team dealt with human trafficking.
Oh my god.
My job was all balls and I regret that we couldn't really do anything to put a dent in the problem. I worked undercover in that I did not wear a uniform or carry a badge and my authority was civilian, so I only reported to LEAs. The most taboo thing I witnessed that I was not allowed to do anything about was women, mothers, aunts,
you're undercover,
grandmothers, offering children for sex in exchange for cash. The truth of the matter is that, at least in Western society, the threshold of evidence required to hold women responsible for sex trafficking is not even in the same ballpark as for men. The number of cases we had to tolerate sickens me. I don't know which we need to address first as a society, the rampant abuse or the gender bias that keeps it going. But the truth be told, I met just as many women pimps and abusers as I did men. The biggest difference I could see is that women were more often pimping out the under 12 demographic versus the male pimps that were pimping out the teens. I never saw one female prosecuted, but we were successful in moving a handful of kids to foster care. Working as a pie, without giving too many details, I was a part of a drug-happy orgy a pair of unfit parents set up. Had my partner do the drugs off camera with the excuse of me having a drug test for my job so I couldn't partake in that. 10 plus people there, mostly in couples, and I ended up screwing the unfit mother and recorded her getting sandwich at her home and plenty of other things. Needless to say, the kids aren't in that house anymore. Ended up quitting after that job. Kinda fricked with my head. The money was kind of ridiculous at times though. It was a custody case. The children went with their bio father who had been fighting for them for a long time.
So
I've had to do some forensic
is that okay? Somebody answer me down in the comments below. Is an undercover cop allowed to have sexual intercourse with another person while undercover? I thought that is illegal. Most of the stuff that they're doing, but I thought that that is a very, very illegal thing that you cannot do. Oh my god, we got 2 more. I just want to go ahead and stop the video real quick. Just say 98.4 of you guys are not subscribed. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to buy the merch. And use the code TINY10 to get 10% off your order. I got multiple designs, multiple colors. I'm telling you, you guys will love it. Hey, back to the video.
Kinda fricked with my head. The money was kind of ridiculous at times though. It was a custody case. The children went with their bio father who had been fighting for them for a long time.
Alright.
I've had to do some forensic PC work. Seen bodies
Oh
mishandled
my
by
God.
funeral staff. Psychologists molesting their patients. Veterinarians torturing animals. Dentists killing children with unnecessary anesthesia. Doctors filling a man's chest with metal stents for no reason. Older doctors that are clearly incompetent cutting up some poor guy indiscriminately. I know I see the worst of the worst, but it is enough to make me not want to go to a medical professional until I absolutely have to. Even then it is iffy. All of these cases have the full attention of legal authorities. All of them took place several years ago. Anyone who could be charged has been charged.
Last one.
Worked as a private investigator for a while. Mostly did work comp cases. Seen some shiftiness. Drug deals. etc. Worst thing was conducting surveillance on a person at an apartment complex. Get there before light to set up my rig. Little bit before sunrise this Mexican couple, 50s-ish, in a truck pull up in front of my position. Guys pulling a trailer. Gets out rummage through dumpster for metal and stuff. Okay,
yeah, nothing at all.
Not so bad. Then the woman with him gets out and between my vehicle and said dumpster proceeds to pop a squat and crap on the ground. Way to start my morning, guys. Thanks.
Wait. She took our shit on the ground? How was that crazy? Oh my god, what the hell? If you guys like that one, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bell so you don't miss another video. Hey, I know typically at the end of my videos, I always say stay safe, which I do mean that, but I just want you guys know, keep working hard, keep doing you, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Let's go.